Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing fantastic wherever you are in the world. Before I get into this video, disclaimer. This video is not intended to pit creators against each other. This is to demonstrate Miss Without a Crystal Ball pattern of problematic and backstabbing behavior. Each creator can speak for themselves. I'm just giving my 2 cents. If you hear noise in the background, that's baby playing. Without a Crystal Ball is the most vitriolic person I have ever come across in my entire existence. It is so sad. At her ripe age, she hasn't learned how to work through rejection. And then she wants to sit back and pose as this professional, someone who was all for equality, and also states that she stays in her own lane. All that is BS. Miss Without a Crystal Ball will do whatever it takes to get her to the top. And she absolutely lacks morals, integrity, professionalism, ethics, and decorum. She is that person that will bite the hand that feeds you. And when she turned on Gypsy and Christy for the second time, this same person that she speaks ill about now, some MORBID, she is accusing him of sexual inappropriateness. Yet he was the only person that out of the goodness of his heart gave her a platform, because no one else had that much respect for her to give her that opportunity. And she has now turned on him, and she has a tendency of doing this to men she cannot win against. She accused another man of sexual harassment and then turned around and said, "Oh, he just made me feel uncomfortable." She did something similar to Dare Challenge podcast, where she said he tried to come onto her when all he was doing was trying to help her with the streaming. And now she is accusing some MORBID X of being sexually inappropriate with the females on his panel.
I cannot stand the way that MORBID manages his panel. I hate that they constantly fucking interrupt their guests and don't let them finish a thought. Their questions are really rude and completely just disgusting. I hate the way that they treat people on their panels, and it's why I will never go on his channel again. I have to say something about this panel. Every single panelist is so disrespectful about microdeletions. I hate the way that they talk about disability, the way that they disparage people with microdeletions and act like they are sideshows. I cannot stand the way Nina and any of these panelists talk about this microdeletion. It's offensive to people that have disabilities. This panel consistently mocks people's IQs, claims that this microdeletion is the product of incest. It's disgusting. I cannot stand the way that they mock and disparage people that have disabilities, yet they claim that they fucking care about Nicholas Godejohn. They don't. This is MORBID, the same man that tells people is sexually inappropriate with just about every woman on his panel.
So, Miss Without a Crystal Ball, is it okay to say that you are the only one that's allowed to talk about her microdeletion and poke fun at her and be tongue-in-cheek about this whole situation because you were the one that lost, what you said, 5 years of a friendship? Miss me with all this bullshit. Then she attacks Nina.
Nina was being disgusting. I don't know what Nina thinks she's doing to help. She's not. Nina, you have a personality defect. You're kind of a bitch. I mean...
Also, you have low-quality salt. There is salt there.
Nina, you have low-quality content. You're not even that smart, and you get shit wrong all the time. And hey, Nina, Nick hates you. He doesn't want you advocating for him. I don't know why so many people on TikTok listen to what Nina has to say, because she gets 99% of her stories wrong.
Katie Joy, yeah, you are calling another woman a bitch. The same woman you apologized to for doing the same thing the first time you turned on Gypsy Rose. And you claimed you did it because you were manipulated. Now, after you apologized to Nina, and Nina said, and I quote, "I appreciate that," you got butthurt because she blocked you, as in your mind you thought you could cozy up to Nina or team up with Nina to get revenge on Gypsy. Now that is what you call a strong, confident black woman, who you called not that smart. I would beg to differ, Katie Joy. She is smart as fuck, in my opinion, because she didn't fall for your bullshit, and all that you could offer was a number. I'm talking about a subscriber number. And that proves to me that wasn't enough for her to bend to your manipulation and your bullshit. And she recognized the snake that you are. Oh, and by the way, what happened to how you said to Gypsy that you didn't like her attacking Nina, yet now you attacking Nina? Didn't you tell Gypsy not to attack Nina because she is not a large creator and that she is an African American woman and it didn't look good in any capacity? How do you think you look now, Miss Without a Crystal Ball? And that is why I believe Katie Joy is no different from Gypsy and Christy. How do you know Nick hates Nina? Are you paying another inmate again to get inside information on Nick? Remember the way you paid an inmate to give you information on Josh Duggar? Was those hundreds of dollars you were paying to this inmate to keep tabs on Josh and give you feedback worth it? Last but not least, you claim Nina gets 99% of her stories wrong. Is that projection? Because from where I sat and watched, 99% of the time you were kept in the dark as to what was really going on with Gypsy and Christy because they didn't trust you after what you disclosed and revealed the first time you turned on them. And you're still in the dark because, again, from where I sit, your tea that you get is from people like Nina and Conspiracy. Just saying. And you should be the last to be talking about personality defects. Miss Ma'am, have you paid attention to yourself? How many personalities do you have? Because on each of your platforms, you have a different personality. Then she goes after and attacks Nicole.
Nicole, who's on that panel, I almost threw my phone at my fucking computer today. And I already said this, but she literally likened people that have microdeletions to the kinds of people that are in sideshows. These panelists are so ignorant to genetic conditions. Like Gypsy's microdeletion is not sideshow. It's very mild, actually. One of my very good friends has a daughter with a microdeletion, and she has an IQ of 40. She's nonverbal. She has a serious heart condition, multiple life-threatening illnesses. She's not a fucking sideshow.
That's so fucking sick. Why would you talk about anyone's child that way? Anyway, why would you talk about any child that way? Period. Any child.
Any person. Any person.
Well, yeah, any person. But they're talking about a baby that's not even in the world right now. You're just...
So your child isn't perfect, and somehow it's... You feel comfortable degrading that human because they have an issue that's not perfect? Fuck you, Nicole. And I fucking defended you and sent you a galaxy.
So I did reach out to Nicole, and she explained that she had said that disabled people were used in sideshows, which is true, and that what Katie Joy explained in that clip was not what Nicole explained. You see, this is how Katie Joy moves. She will gaslight and manipulate a situation to make herself look good, like the decent, good human being. She even used another child's disability to make a point that wasn't even discussed or alluded to. And why must you always make it known what you have done for the next person? Katie Joy, you crying about a galaxy? I'm sure with all your e-begging, you have gotten so much more than giving away one galaxy. And the fucked up part is that her audience bought her lies and believed her wholeheartedly. It was just a matter of time before she turned on these people. And I'm talking about MORBID and the people on his panel. She got her following from that smaller creator and community. And as per usual, they're the bad guys. And she's the victim. She then goes after Apple.
And I can't stand Apple that's on Morbid's panel.
What did Apple do to you, Katie Joy? Did Apple ask you the right question about something that you did irresponsibly and you didn't want to take accountability? Like not checking for personal details before exposing shit about people on your platform because you wanted to be the first to put out information. And yes, I'm talking about how you put out Dan Glidewell's social security number and left it up until you were made aware of your fuck up and still couldn't humble yourself and own up to it and take accountability for it. Yet now it's okay for you to be mean to someone who is autistic. It is definitely the hypocrisy for me. I have never seen or heard MORBID or anyone mock people with disabilities, But also, I don't often watch his lives, so I could be wrong. But for now, I'm going to stick with I have never seen anyone on that panel mock or disrespect people with disabilities. Katie Joy, someone who claims to be an advocate and to stand up for people with disabilities. Why is she so pressed on how people advocate for Nick when she herself hates Nick and disparages him every single chance she gets? And let's not forget, she was on his side before she went to the dark side, and that was being friends with Christy. And according to Katie Joy, they only befriended her because she had a child with a disability, and they wanted to steal his story. That's bullshit.
Definitely was not expecting to talk to Christy. So, you know what's super funny though, you guys? So I sent a message to Christy on Facebook, and I never know if anyone's going to respond if I send them, you know, because like stuff ends up in like it always ends up in like their boxes, like their others, and if they don't check their other box, they don't sometimes see you. And I wasn't sure if she would see me, and she I said, I'm a reporter for blah blah blah. She's like, oh, what do you work for? And she's like, I said, oh, I ran on Pathos, but I've been sort of transitioning over to hosting a channel on YouTube called Without a Crystal Ball. And she's like, Without a Crystal Ball, I'm a fan. I actually watch your channel. She said she like watches my stuff about reality TV because she loves reality TV. Isn't that funny? Who would have thought? Who would have thunk?
Another lie, Katie Joy. So Christy actually liked your content. She watched your content. And it wasn't that you had a son with a disability. And also, you lied to her that you were a reporter. Katie Joy actually accused me of exploiting her son, when Katie Joy is the one that cannot stop speaking about her son. She feels she is the expert because her son has all these disabilities. She wants people to think that she knows more about Gypsy because of her son's situation. The world by now knows everything about her son's disability, and she uses him to gain followers, attention, sympathy, and Katie Joy should be ashamed of herself. Apple did nothing to you. It's just your jealousy and envy that has the better of you, because you couldn't get people on your panel to talk like Ken's mom, Gypsy, or anybody associated with that family. It just goes to show how irrelevant you are.
Listen, I've made my thoughts clear about like how I don't agree with like how some of these people run their panels, and I will 100% stand 10 toes down, as the kids say, on the fact that like you can't fucking advocate for Nick and mock anyone with a disability.
Well, so much for how you stand 10 toes down on how you feel these creators run their panels and advocate for Nick, because in my opinion, they have hearts, unlike you. And above all people, you should be advocating for Nick, since you have changed your opinion and turned your back on someone you supported and suddenly woke up to the truth and realized that Nick was manipulated. And also, originally, you said, and I quote, she murdered her and he is absolutely mentally delayed and should not be in prison.
Well, she murdered her mom.
Well, I think they played up on Nick's autism and made him look way more innocent than he is.
He is absolutely developmentally delayed and should not be in prison.
You made it clear you knew who he was because of his disability, and you did say he could be manipulated. And remember, you even said yourself and likened your own son to Nick and said that he could be manipulated into murder because of his disability.
My son is autistic, so
do you believe that your son could be manipulated into murdering somebody?
yes,
You do.
yes.
Miss Without a Crystal Ball claims that she was manipulated, brainwashed, and gaslit. Bullshit. She chose, in my opinion, to have a change of heart. She was complicit to what was happening. She chose to turn a blind eye. She cannot seem to keep her story straight as time goes by. Again, as I close out, let me reiterate. By me talking about this is not to get creators riled up against each other. It is to show how Miss Without a Crystal Ball is such a dirty player. She has no loyalty to anyone but herself. She will use anyone to get what she wants, and she is not at all sincere. As you saw, she apologized to Nina, yet went on to attack her again. She gives a shit about the next person, whether you are disabled or not. She will twist a story to make herself the victim, the good guy, and all for notoriety, clicks, views, and most importantly, money in her pocket. She always has and always will be for herself, and she surely doesn't care who she hurts along the way or who she puts in harm's way. Let me leave you with a laugh. This person, Miss Without a Crystal Ball, who feels she is the know-it-all and is above the rest, but doesn't seem to know the basics. She read how the young adults in the IBLP prepare for marriage. This is how that went.
A UTI. Do you know about the anatomy of a woman? Do you know the anatomy of a woman? You don't get a UTI from doing the hanky pank, okay? You don't. It's a completely different hole, you guys, just in case you're wondering. And going to the bathroom after will not stop that because it's a completely different hole. Okay, you guys, let it go about the UTIs. That's like literally not like moving on about the UTI. Okay. You guys, let it go. Let it go. Moving on.
How embarrassing, right? Especially when you claim to be a journalist. But also, let me show you, this is my favorite, which had me in stitches because she is being sued by 7M and the lawsuit got filed in court. And it seems as though Katie Joy, that knows everybody's businesses, who's being sued, who's not being sued, who's got records on them, who doesn't have records, yet she didn't even know that her lawsuit was filed in court. And she actually went on her Instagram live and tried to drag these YouTubers, which are lawyers but profession. And she insisted that she is not being sued and that her lawsuit has not been filed in court.
Ooh, I'm shiny. I'm just gonna come on here for a second. You can join me. I want to be 100% clear right now, like 100%. I'm not going to mess around. I'm not going to like be silly or funny. I'm going to be real here. My lawsuit is not filed in court. It is not filed in court. I will show you that it is not filed in court. Not one person has reached out to me to ask for a copy of the lawsuit. How then do all of these YouTubers have the lawsuit? Who did they get the lawsuit from? Because it is not filed in court.
No, I pulled it directly from the state of Minnesota's court website myself, personally. It's on the docket. So I don't really know what to tell you. It's filed. It's on the docket. I pulled it myself. So it's got a docket number and everything. Someone tell Katie Joy she's wrong. Someone tell Katie Joy she's wrong. It's filed.
So this is the proof of service filed in the district court, state of Minnesota, 4/5/22, 9:36 a.m. So what, yesterday morning? This is their notice that they get. I, again, love the water stamping. You are being sued.
Anyone speaking about this lawsuit communicated with the cult. Is that who you want to be following? Do you want to follow someone that will willingly take a lawsuit from a man like Robert? Because this is not filed in court. This was a pocket service. There is no court record. We are not under the jurisdiction of a court. They got the lawsuit from the cult, not from me. It's not in court. There is no case number, no judge. It has not been filed in court. If you are a YouTuber and you are talking about this case, you did not get it from me.
I pulled it directly from the state of Minnesota's court website myself. It's on the docket. It's filed.
You are being sued.
Because we didn't give you this. We didn't give you this. If you have a copy of it, that means you got it from Robert or you got it from 7M. It's not filed in court. It's called pocket service. That means you can't go online and find this. That means you can't download this from the court. No, they have not filed anything in court. We have not been notified of it being filed in court. So you guys got this not from the court.
No, I pulled it directly from the state of Minnesota's court website myself.
This was sent to my home. They showed up at my home with the lawsuit. This is called pocket service. Pocket service in the state of Minnesota means from the date that you file, you have 1 year, or from you draft the lawsuit, you have 1 year to file it with the court.
So this is the proof of service filed in the district court, state of Minnesota, 4/5/22, 9:36 a.m.
It hasn't been filed. They requested injunctions, but that doesn't mean it's been filed. You can put anything in a complaint, but it hasn't been filed. Like, do you want to argue with me? Because I'm the party here.
Looks like the party was late to their own party.
So if you knew about this lawsuit ahead of time, that means you were speaking to the cult. If you knew about this and you have these documents, that means you're speaking to the cult. If you're reporting on this and you have the documents, you're in bed with the cult. You can be in bed with the cult and on the wrong side, again, like you always are, Emily, or you can be on the right side.
Hold on to your pearls, people, because here it comes. She is going to go off on Emily D. Baker.
I am so tired of Emily Baker. She has made my life hell for 2 years. I don't even talk about her on my channel. She has done every one of my lawsuits and she acts like they're the biggest deal in the fucking world. None of them have gone anywhere. When I was being sued by Tati Westbrook, she convinced people that I was going to go to jail for civil contempt and that I was destroying evidence when I wasn't destroying evidence. And she also slandered my attorney. She made mockeries of the judge. She gave the judge a nickname. Mind you, she is a she's a bar licensed attorney in the state of California. And she was disparaging a fellow bar attorney. When you're an officer of the court, ethically, you are not supposed to disparage or slander other officers of the court. I know that she's going to get it. And someone told me she's been live. So if Emily has it, if any other channel has it, I don't understand how anyone can take Emily seriously when she's on her channel cursing, saying facts not fuckery, and she's not licensed in the state of Tennessee. So she's playing an attorney, but she's not licensed in the state that she works in or that she's in. She, in the state of Tennessee, cannot give legal advice. Unless she's in the state of California, she cannot practice law. I don't care about Emily. I don't watch Emily. Emily can have a great life. I just wish Emily would stop talking about me.
Here comes the threat.
I just want to remind you, Emily Baker, we almost filed a complaint with the bar. We almost sued you. We're still in the statute of limitations to sue you for what you did last year. So just remember that. I can still file a lawsuit against you at any time, Emily, for what you did. And we can still file a bar complaint against you. So we've asked you to stop and you don't. And if you are going to be on the side of the cult, it's not the right side to be on. Emily spread a narrative that I sent death threats. She spread a narrative that I was stalking people and harassing them. She made people believe that I was going to be arrested for destroying evidence. She was actually in a little group that was like behind the scenes doing stuff, kind of following me. She was really close to the prosecution's or the plaintiff's attorney. And when we attempted to reach out with her to share our side, she refused to speak with us. She didn't have to speak with us, but she was trying to say that her coverage was unbiased, but she wasn't because she was getting information directly from the plaintiff's side and not from us. Here come all her fucking fans. So legally speaking, what I have is it's a lawsuit. It's just not in court. I have zero interest on going on Emily's channel. There's nothing to defend. Anyone that takes the lawsuit that 7M seriously needs psychological help. You need psychological help if you are defending 7M. You need psychological help if you are defending the claims that they're making. And you need psychological help if you're on that side. Yes, I have a production team. And uncivil law, if he pulled it from the court, he got it before we did. I'm not mad at uncivil law. Like, I really don't care. Emily and Uncivil, what I would encourage you to do is start digging into the lawsuits that have been filed against Robert Shin.
It's not interesting to me. You know, I'm a legal analysis channel. To go dig into Robert Shin, well, I mean, I guess I could go dig into lawsuits involving Robert Shin or cases that involve Robert Shin, but this one came to my attention, and you know, we'll analyze this one.
He wants an injunction for me to remove everything about him online. That's hilarious. You can't force someone to remove things that are like not true or that are true. Like, people have a right to have an opinion online. I don't know if that makes anyone else. I don't know if it was anyone else.
She was literally the last to find out about her own lawsuit, a defamation lawsuit that if she loses, she will be responsible to pay up to $40 million in damages. This is who Miss Without a Crystal Ball is. She spews shit, accuses people of wrongdoings without evidence or proof. And by the way, Katie Joy, I'm still waiting for your proof about the false accusation you made against me and other creators that we agreed to help Robert Shin, which is absolutely false. And it also proves to me that she doesn't seem to have, or maybe she is panicking about being held responsible for the false claims she made against Robert Shin because of how she is e-begging on TikTok. It's absolutely embarrassing. I will have all the links to these creators' YouTube and TikTok accounts in the description. Feel free to check them out. Thank you again so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day and week. Please be safe out there. Be kind to one another and don't forget, make good memories. Bye guys.